episode 25 of the Free Your Mind podcast. If you listened to the last one, you may have noticed that it was a repeat of the one before that because I clearly fucked up and uploaded the wrong audio. So if you went to listen to Good Bad Who Knows and I didn't mention that at any point during the conversation, then you may want to go back and listen again. So now it's quite interesting because, as always, my brain turns that into something useful. I thought, how can we use this? And I thought about like failure and people fucking up, because I see that a lot. People don't want to own their mistakes. People don't want to admit to fucking up. People seem to have this real issue with failure, this real fear of failure, this fear of fucking up, which is something I used to have but don't anymore. I could not give a shit. To me, it's like I gave up trying to be perfect a long time ago. I gave up trying to be someone I'm not a long time ago. I gave up trying to strengthen my weaknesses a long time ago. There are things I do really, really well, right? Give me a camera, give me a mic, give me a client, put me on stage. I'll be there. I'll have fun. And somehow, in amongst these words, you will probably like listening to it. And human transformation occurs, right? Don't ask me how. Not because I don't know, but because I don't know, but also because I do know. But trying to explain how I know is about a 10-hour conversation, because there's something very miraculous and remarkable, actually, about human transformation. But people are trying to look at it from a very conceptual, logical perspective. Anyway, that's a rabbit hole we will explore another day. Point is, right, let me get back on track. I go off on tangents. I mean, try and stop me from doing that. You've got no chance, right? There's just no chance. I've tried not talking as much. I've tried, I was told my whole life, James, you just talk shit. You talk bollocks. Does this guy ever shut up? Does he ever stop talking? Etc., right? This is me. This is who I am. And everyone's trying to be someone they're not, or pretend they're not who they are, or they're trying to hide parts of themselves and magnify the parts that they like. They're trying to hide the behind the scenes and only show the highlight reel. They try and present the world with this perfect illusion of themselves and then hide the shit behind the scenes. Now, I get to see the behind the scenes. So don't think I don't know. Don't think I don't know the truth, right? You can't bullshit me in this moment, because I know the truth. I know multi-millionaires that secretly go home and sit on the sofa and watch Netflix and feel like they're failing. I know like people that's lives look amazing on Instagram and their cars and their house and their wife and kids, and they're saying to me, look, James, I'm fucking miserable. I feel like a bag of dog shit. Like, I know people that all different various aspects of their life, rich or not rich, millionaires or not millionaires, male, female but identify as being male, whatever, right? I see the behind the scenes. The truth is, we're all human. We're all human. That's what this conversation is about for me. It's not about being superhuman. It's about the art of being human. It doesn't matter how much is in your bank. Sometimes you feel good, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you feel fearful, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you think, wow, look at this money. Sometimes you think, what fucking money? I'm going to lose it all. And you could have, like, it doesn't matter what car you drive or what house you have. Some days you'll feel shit and some days you don't. Some days you appreciate everything you have. Some days you don't. Some days you just feel negative and pessimistic and anxious and like you can't be fucking arsed. And some days you feel the opposite of that. You feel like you actually could take over the world. You think, shit, I might possibly be able to fly right now. Maybe you've tried and then realised you can't. But whatever, right? We're all fucking human. That is the experience of being human. Now, can we impact that? Can we have an effect on that? Yes. That's probably why you're here, right? The more you understand the experience of being human, the more you understand it's actually embracing and accepting what it means to be a human, the more you accept the dark, the negative, the down, whatever you want to term it as, the more you accept that as part of yourself, the more you accept yourself, the more you accept your failures, the more you accept your weaknesses, the more you'll find yourself grounded in a state of peaceful, powerful, calm wisdom, common sense, grounding. I don't know what words you want to put to it, right? Because the words don't mean anything. It's the feeling. Now, you either know what I'm talking about or you don't. And if you don't, go back and listen to every one of these podcasts and then listen to this one again. And let's see if we've got any closer to that feeling, right? Because that's the point of this. That's the point of coaching. That's the point of me doing my group programs. That's the point of everything I do. Pointing you home to yourself. Pointing you home to that space within, but it's beneath thinking. It's beneath all of the bullshit thinking. And I'm also doing that, right? I'm poking fun and poking holes in your thinking. I'm sharing experiences and stories because you go, holy shit, that sounds like me. And I thought that, and that makes me normal. And oh my God, that's an interesting way of looking at it. I'm pulling apart your thinking and I'm pointing you back to that innate mental wellness, that innate common sense, that inner peacefulness that just feels like everything is fucking okay. You know, it's confidence, but not in a, look at me, I'm so fucking fantastic, look what I'm wearing, or look at my body shape, or look at my house, or look at my job, or look at my kids, or look at something. It's a quiet confidence of not needing to prove anything, not needing to hide anything. Nothing to gain, nothing to lose, nothing to hide, nothing to prove. Apparently that's in the Bible. I don't know if that's true. I don't read the Bible, I never have. But if it is, that's pretty fucking cool. If it isn't, then who gives a shit? The sentence still works really nicely. So anyway, I wanted to talk, I couldn't decide. Do I talk about fear? Do I talk about imposter syndrome? I'm going with imposter syndrome for this one. And I'm going to go with maybe fear in the next one. Or I'm going to end up combining them. I don't know, because I don't know until I say the words. So you probably know that by now. I'll tell you. In 10 minutes time, I'll tell you what I've spoken about, and then I'll decide on the title of this podcast. But first off, let's go with imposter syndrome, because I hear it thrown around a bit. Now, I never related to the word imposter syndrome. Quite honestly, I tend to rebel against labels. I Googled imposter syndrome before this, just out of curiosity, and it's like, is imposter syndrome a mental illness? And it's like, that there is the problem of humans. We try and conceptualize everything. We make it a thing. Is imposter syndrome, we give it an identity. Is imposter syndrome a mental illness? We want to categorize it, put it in a box, point at it. And it's like, well, what is imposter syndrome? Good fucking question. Think about that. What is imposter syndrome? Point to it. Show me it. Bring it to me. Take a photo of it. Send me a video of it, right? What is it? Where is it? If you can't actually pick it up in your hands and show it to me, it means it's made of thinking. It means it isn't real, other than the facade you create within your own thinking. You've constructed it, if you suffer with it or know someone that does, right? To me, it's like I never identified with imposter syndrome. It just seems like one of those shit, you know, like, oh, my anxiety. Oh, I've got imposter syndrome. Fuck off. The fact that you're identifying with it on that level is the reason that it's causing you a problem, because you've made it a thing. Let go of it as a thing, and let's just kind of playfully explore. To me, did I have imposter syndrome? No, I did not. It's not something you can have. But did I feel like a fraud sometimes? Totally. Did I have thoughts of, who the fuck are you to talk to people about this stuff? Yes. How are you able to coach super successful multi-millionaires that are older than you, that have bigger businesses than you, that have been on this planet longer than you? Who the fuck are you to do that? Of course I had those thoughts. Every video I did, I'd think, James, you are talking shit. Every podcast, James, you're talking bollocks. Don't put that out. Don't put that out. At football, someone says, oh, James, I don't really know the guy very well. It's like, my wife listens to your podcast. And the first thought is, oh, fucking hell, why has she done that? Please don't. Like, I don't want anyone to know I even do a podcast. Like, that's the initial thought. I'm not saying that those thoughts are true. I'm not saying they have power anymore. But are they still there? Totally. 100%. When someone says, James, can you help me? I don't know. Don't fucking ask me. Let's talk. You know, put some money in my bank. Let's get on the phone. Let's find out, right? Worst case is this is a load of bollocks. Best case is it changes your life. And it normally does the latter. So, I don't know. Right? So did I have those thoughts? Right. And I'm joking now. You can probably see my level of understanding around it now, but it never used to feel that way to me. Did I always feel that way? No. I would think, shit, I don't know if I can help you. Why am I doing all this? Who am I? I need to now write down all the ways in which I'm good. Well, I've helped this client do this. I've helped this client do this. See, James, look, you really are good at this. You're really good at this. You're good at this. You know, some people would tell you to shout affirmations in the mirror. James, you are good at this. Oh, yeah, I'm good at this. Thank you, James, for telling James that James is good at this. Now James feels better. Like, I'm poking fun at that too, but, you know, I can do that because fuck it. It just seems like suddenly you'd be shouting over the top of your negative thoughts. If the negative thoughts are there, negative thoughts in quotes, I'll shout over the top of them with positive thoughts and wonder why my head is so busy, wonder why I'm overwhelmed, wonder why I feel like I'm having this tug of war within my own mind. But did I have those thoughts? Yes. Did they make my heart race every time I clicked send or upload or 100%? Did I have thoughts that I don't even know why these clients are paying me? Am I even any good? Are they even getting value? Do they even think it's worth the money? Why do they not, you know, go with someone that's about 5 times cheaper than I am? Totally had those thoughts. Did they impact me? At times. Yeah, early days. Yeah, absolutely. There were certain videos that I'd be like, right, I've got that one will go out tomorrow. But by tomorrow, the thoughts had become big enough for me to not put it out because I really had convinced myself it was shit. I'd turn videos off. I even sabotage early relationships with clients because rather than say, mate, are you enjoying these sessions? Are you getting something from these? How has your life changed? The thoughts of it is a waste of their money, I don't get why they're paying me, would be enough for me to sabotage that relationship. We'd come towards like the end of our 3-month period and I'd be too afraid to ask, has it been worth the money? Because I already had decided in my head the answer was no, so therefore I'm not going to ask them to stick around. And then 6 months later they would come back and I'd say, why have you fucking come back? And they'd say, because I loved our sessions, I got so much from it, my life changed so much and my life's just not as good without these conversations. And I'd be like, well, blow me down with a feather is the phrase that comes to mind. I've never said that before. Like, well, I'll be damned. I don't know what's going wrong with me today. Something's malfunctioning in my mind, clearly, and I'm having too much fun with this one. But it would blow my fucking mind. I thought that you thought this was shit. It was like I was too afraid of facing up to my own insecurities. I'd already decided that my thoughts were correct. My thoughts were true. So yeah, what am I saying here? Have I felt like I've got no idea what I'm talking about? Have I felt like, who the fuck am I to help people? Have I felt like, why does anyone pay me? Have I felt like, why are you here listening to this? Have I felt like, please don't listen to this or play it to your family? I've had clients listen to it with their wife and kids in the car and send me a video and I'm cringing. Like, don't do that. I've had people at my wedding say, oh, I watch your videos, James, all the time. And I think, why? Do you? Firstly, do you? Secondly, I didn't know that. And thirdly, why? You know, my aunties and cousins say, oh, I really love your videos. Do you? I didn't know you watched them either and it's making me embarrassed. I don't want to talk about it. You know, that's how I used to feel a lot. Do you know how I overcome it? I recognize those thoughts as just thoughts. They're made up of the same thoughts as all of my thoughts. The thoughts that I'm good, or the thoughts that I'm bad, the thoughts that I'm shit, or the thoughts that I'm not shit. Our psychology is transient in nature. It comes and goes. It's quite volatile at times, if you like mine. I can have one thought that says, James, this podcast, in this podcast, there have been times where I thought, this is awesome. I'm really enjoying this. And there's also been some thoughts that have said, James, this is shit. This podcast is shit. They're there. There are also other thoughts. We have like 60,000 thoughts a day. They might say, I'm hungry. Life's shit. Life's awesome. This podcast is great. This podcast is shit. Why are you doing this? Why are you wasting time? I want to go home and get in bed. I can't be fucking arsed. Actually, I need to do some stuff. Like, they are just, my brain, I don't know about yours, but my brain just rabbits all day long. Just waffles shit all day long, right? Cool. But once you recognize the nature of thinking is, it isn't true. If you know that your thoughts lie to you a lot and get things wrong a lot and make assumptions that are wrong a lot, and tell you things are going to be good and then they turn out not to be. Or they tell you things are going to be shit and then you turn out to actually be surprised that they were better than expected. If you know your thoughts lie to you, why would you continue to believe them? Why would you continue to give them so much power over you? Why would you continue to use them as a compass to navigate your life? Rather than just recognize them for what they really are. They're just thoughts. They flow. They come and go. Sometimes they're more positive. Sometimes they're more negative. But they're not truth. They're not real. They don't mean anything. They don't have to mean anything. So just because I think this podcast is shit doesn't mean it actually is. Just because I think it's fucking brilliant doesn't mean it actually is. And just because I have both the thoughts at the same fucking time, that doesn't mean I'm bipolar or mental. It just means there's thoughts that are dancing around in my head like waves, of the sea, just coming in, flowing in and out, doing their own thing. There 1 minute, gone the next, and then there's a new one. A new one comes along, and then a new one comes along, and then a new one comes along, and occasionally they look similar. So how have I stopped all of those thoughts? Hopefully you know the answer to this by now. I didn't. I just didn't see him as truth anymore. I'll be doing this podcast as my thoughts say, this is shit. Cool. And I'll just keep doing it anyway. And I'll be doing this podcast as the thoughts say, this podcast is fucking epic. You should be a bazillionaire. You should be like the most successful life coach in the entire world because you are so fucking good. I might have those thoughts too. And here I am just doing the podcast anyway. It's the realization that thoughts don't mean what you think they mean. Emotions don't mean what you think they mean. And actually that sentence in itself you could pull apart. Thoughts do mean what you think they mean because you normally think they mean something that they don't, which then makes them true. I'll let you process that one. Emotions do mean what you think they mean because you make them mean something. But if you didn't make them mean something or think they meant something, you'd realize the emotions didn't actually mean anything. Like, Max was sad recently and I said, what's the matter? He said, I don't know. And I thought, yeah, that's the truth. Because we always think there has to be a reason. Why do you feel sad? I don't fucking know. I just do. Like, why does there have to be an explanation, right? Why does there have to be a reason for the sadness? Oh, it's because my life is shit. Now we're caught in the thought story. We're caught in the illusion. The truth is, why do you feel sad? Because I do. Why do you do your podcast? Because I do. Why do you enjoy your podcast? Because I enjoy my podcast. And because I enjoy my podcast, I do it. Why do you have negative thoughts then? If you've got all these amazing reviews and all these amazing clients and you earn well, and why do you still have thoughts that you're not any good at this? Because I do. And why do you sometimes have thoughts where you actually recognize or see how good you are? Well, because on those days, they're the thoughts I have in that moment until they're not there anymore. They're there until they're not. Do I feel like an imposter anymore? Do I feel like a fraud anymore? No. Do I still have the thoughts occasionally? Totally. It doesn't mean anything. It's like a fly in the room. It's a bit annoying, but it's not going to kill me. And I don't need to do anything about it. I just get on with my life. The other thing is as well, if you do feel like an imposter, there's a really good way of not feeling like an imposter. And that's just don't be full of shit. We live in a world where everyone's trying to bullshit and bollocks their way through it. They're trying to create this facade. They're trying to pretend they've got money when they don't. I've got all these expensive clothes. Look how successful I am, even though secretly I know that I can't pay my rent. What's the point, right? I'm going to do a YouTube video so it looks like I know what I'm talking about, even though I don't know what I'm talking about. Just don't fucking do it then. Or just be open and okay with the fact you don't really know what you're talking about. And just have fun with it. Because before long, you'll find you do know what you're talking about. Or you might even find you were wrong. You didn't think you knew what you was talking about, but you was open and upfront about that. Look, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm having fun. And then they go, actually, this was really good. I think you know more than you realise. And you go, holy shit, maybe I do. Right? But just don't be full of shit. Just don't be full of shit. When a client says to me, do you think this can work? I don't fucking know. I feel like it will. I feel excited by the conversation. I've never had it not work. But we just got to find out. I can't even, I might be dead tomorrow, so then it won't work. Of course it won't. I won't be here. So then you've wasted your money and you won't be getting it back because I'm dead. So will it work? I don't know. I can't tell the future. But in my experience, people respect that. They respect that honesty. They respect that truthfulness. They respect that authenticity. I've had a client before who wanted me to work with his son, and I said, just so you know, because he was going to be paying, it could be a load of bollocks. It could be a load of shit. This could be the biggest waste of money you've ever wasted money on, but I'm willing to try. And I've never seen it not work, but this could be the first. I don't think it will be, but could be. He's like, let's do it. Cool. All right. Now I can come at it clean. There's no pressure. I haven't promised anything. I haven't lied. I haven't been full of shit and said, yes, I'm the fucking greatest man there is, so of course this will work. I haven't done that. I think there's a lot of power in that, right? You know, am I the best parent in the world? I've never, I haven't done this before. I haven't lived this exact day in my life before. I've never been this age before. Because every day we get older, right? We're all just fumbling our way through. We're all just best guessing. We're all just doing the best that we can based on what we know. Let's just be okay with that. Let's just be okay with that. Sometimes we fuck things up. Sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes we don't really know what we're talking about. Sometimes we think we don't know what we're talking about, and we do actually know what we're talking about. Sometimes we think we know what we're talking about, and we actually don't. And if you're talking to 100 people, 10 of them will think you're talking shit. 10 of them will think you're an absolute god and probably worship you. 50 of them probably weren't even fucking listening. The other ones will probably listen to their own thoughts, tripping over their own insecurities, lost in their own world. So wherever you're trying to look for evidence that you're good enough, you're not going to find it. And wherever you're looking for evidence that you're not an imposter, you won't find it because it doesn't exist anywhere. Because the whole thing is made up of thinking. That's why I point you home to that space within. Because from this quietened down, settled down, grounded space, I hope you've even felt glimmers of that, right? It feels a bit like the third day of holiday when everything just slows down and you go, and everything becomes clear and simple. And everything expands. You look at your kids, you look at your husband or wife, and they look like they're glowing. You feel more love for them. You appreciate your life all of a sudden. You feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, and you don't even remember noticing that before, or at least not for a long time. That feeling. You go for a walk with the dog or whatever, and you're walking through the woods, and as you're doing that, you just feel this intense presence, this intense aliveness where life looks simple, and you wonder why you were so stressed earlier. It doesn't seem that big a deal now. It's that feeling. When I can't give another example because I've forgotten what I was going to say. It's that feeling. It's not that feeling. I was in flow then as well. I don't quite know what happened there, but you get what I'm saying, right? It's that feeling. Because from this place, you just don't care. And I don't mean I don't care like Kevin from Kevin and Perry Go Large or whatever. I don't know how old you are, so you may not even know what that means, or you might. It depends, really. Depends. It's not like I don't fucking care. That's different. That's not grounded. I don't mind. Maybe that's a better phrase. I don't mind. It doesn't matter if I fuck things up. Because I will notice that and maybe I'll do something about it. It doesn't matter if I don't know what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter if I feel like a fraud. It doesn't matter if I feel like I'm not good enough for this. It just doesn't seem like a problem. There's an acceptance in that. There's a peacefulness in that. There's okay, cool. It just doesn't have to be an issue. The same can be said for any emotion, really. I'm scared to do X, Y, and Z, but being scared to do it doesn't have to mean you don't do it. And other people say fear is a signpost letting you know where you need to go. I used to say that. Sometimes I look back at, I didn't know what I didn't know, but I would probably punch myself in the face if I went back in time. Well, I wouldn't. I'd give myself a slap, just a loving slap. Fear isn't anything. Fear isn't a signpost letting you know where you need to go. Fear is just fear. It doesn't mean run away from it. It doesn't mean run towards it, It just is fear. It's fear in that moment. You could lovingly explore it and see what there is to notice, right? What is fear? Why am I fearful? What am I afraid of? That might be a good exploration. You can either do that on yourself or, get a really good coach like some really awesome guy I know called James. Does a podcast actually called Free Your Mind. Or just take a loving look yourself, and an explorative, playful look yourself. So you can play with the emotions. You can have a look at why they might be presenting themselves and notice. There's always a power in that. You watch as it's like pulling thread on a jumper. As you pull it, it unravels. Or like I'm imagining steam. Sometimes thought's a bit like steam. You kind of have a look and it like wafts away and it no longer exists. So have a little playful exploration, but just don't take it as truth. Like Jenna used to be afraid of crashing my car, so she wouldn't drive it. I'd be afraid of crashing my car and drive it anyway. What difference does the fear make? It's like, so what? Are you anxious before doing your podcast? How do you know what to say? No, I'm not anxious. I don't think I've ever been anxious, except for if I have. And maybe I have, and maybe I will be in future, but maybe I'm not right now. Who cares? And how do I know what to say? I don't know what to say. I just speak, and words come out, and then you stop speaking, and there's your podcast episode. Anyway, I'm in danger of talking for a lot longer, although I've had fun here. Hopefully you have. And if you're watching on YouTube, leave comments, because I love seeing, I love hearing your insights. I love hearing what you've seen. I love hearing the bits that have stood out to you. If you're on the podcast and you're anywhere other than iTunes, I don't think you can leave a review, but feel free to leave a review. Feel free to share this with people as well. If you actually think it's good, share it. Say something good about it. Give me some love. And if you want to leave a review, I always like reading them as well, because I do like doing this. I do it for my own enjoyment, and it just so happens that people like listening. But I have to be honest, the biggest motivation in my life is seeing people's lives transform, seeing people come alive, seeing people wake up to this, seeing people have insights that change things for them. That to me is what makes me do this. Otherwise, I would just be selling carpets or, I don't know, working on cars or something else that I enjoy that potentially wouldn't have the same transformative impact, right? Again, I've not done those things, so I have no idea. But there's a reason I do this. Anyway, so share your insights, share your thoughts. Leave a review if you fancy it. Subscribe if you're on YouTube, or if you're not, go find me on there. And that's about it, really. I will speak to you soon. Have a good one.